All right, part 2. Jesus says in Matthew chapter 22, he says to love the Lord your God with all your mind, heart, body, and soul, right? And second, that's the first commandment, and the second commandment is to love your neighbor as yourself. So we see that love, applying love, is a very important part of what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to know love, and we're supposed to apply love. And I believe that if we can really get down the love thing, if we can truly get down the love thing, I believe that's going to take care of so many other sins and struggles that we have and that we go through as Christians. I mean, really think about it. I mean, if you really love the Lord your God with all your mind, heart, body, soul, if you love every little aspect of the Lord your God, that just means, you know what that means? That you're going to just be so much cautious about every little decision, every little thing that you do in your life, and you're going to apply it to your actions, because that's what love is. That's how people show love. See, it's just kind of like I love my wife, right? And I love her. So when I see her, I give her a hug or I give her a kiss. Action, affection. We're showing love. That's how we show love, right? Or we do something for someone. We do something for them. We do an acts of service. I mean, there's all types of love languages, ways that we express love. But the whole key is that Jesus has called us to apply love. If we want to look in Matthew chapter 5, verses 43 through 48. Listen to the words of Jesus as we read the Beatitudes, the Sermon on the Mount. He says, "You have heard that it was said, 'You shall love your neighbor and hate your enemy.' That's what they used to say. But I say to you, love your enemies and bless those who curse you, do good to those who hate you, and pray for those who spitefully use you and persecute you, that you may be sons of your Father in heaven. For he makes his sun rise on the evil and on the good, and sends rain on the just and the unjust. For if you love those who love you, what reward have you?" So he's saying, if you just love the people that love you, so how different are you than everyone else? I mean, he even says, doesn't the tax collectors even do that? He says, "Do not even the tax collectors do the same? For if you greet your brethren only, what do you do more than others? Do not even the tax collectors do so? Therefore you shall be perfect, just as your Father in heaven is perfect." And I've heard this said so many times, well, does God really expect us to be perfect? There's your answer. Yes, God does expect us to be perfect. It's just our idea of what perfect really is. Perfect doesn't mean that we do not need God. Perfect means that we depend upon God, and because he is perfect and we act according to his might, then we do things perfectly. And that doesn't mean that we don't struggle. See, and that's where so many people, they put so much confidence in their flesh rather in the Spirit of God. Understand that just because the flares of the flesh rise up, that doesn't mean that you're not acting in God's perfection. Because when we submit ourselves to a holy God, what takes place is that God is working through us, and that it's not us doing the work no longer. No, it's God doing the work. And so if God's doing the work, then it's perfect. It's beautiful. And if we act according to the flesh, then we tend to mess things up, don't we? So this is the key, is that we need to learn to apply love the way God's standard teaches us to apply love. As it says here in Matthew chapter 5. Remember, he says, you used to hear that it used to be said, love only the people that love you. But that's not what I'm teaching, Jesus says. Jesus says, that's not what I'm teaching you. He's saying, I'm teaching you to love those who spit in your face, those who call you names, those who ain't being nice to you. Those are the people that I'm calling you to love. You need to love like I love. See, when Jesus was getting his hands nailed to a cross, he loved them. He prayed for them. He didn't say, boom, boom, blah, say bad words or spit at them. No, he didn't do those things. He loved radically. And that radical love messed with people's minds. They didn't know how to take it. I mean, just imagine that, someone laughing at you and spitting on you and drilling nails through your wrists, right? Right there and through your feet, and just being so mean and calling you every word, and then all you can say is that I forgive you, or I love you. It's going to be okay. I understand. That's radical. That's a radical type love. That's the love that I believe that Christ desires for his church, for his people, for us. I'm not talking about just us as a little group, us as a whole, Christians and alike. And that's the love that we need to surrender to every single day. But that love is not attainable in our own flesh. No. It's not attainable in no one's flesh. By flesh you can't attain that type of love. No, it's only by Spirit that we can attain that type of love. It's when we die to self. It's when we say, you know what I want really doesn't matter. Let's serve. Let's help. And when we live in that kind of love, things just become, the things of this world become strangely dim, don't they? I mean, you just stop caring about possessions and money to the extreme. You stop caring about getting your little tiny feelings always hurt. You start caring about others. You start looking through spiritual eyes rather than fleshly eyes. What I want. What do I want to get out of this? So many people, think about this. How many people are really happy when something good happens to another person? Most of us, I've heard it even said, well, I wish that would happen to me. It's not the way Christ desires for us to love. He wants us to love unconditionally. He wants us to love radically. He wants us to truly be genuinely happy for others. And the truth is when we reach that point, when we die to our flesh and we reach that point, what happens is we become radically happy. Because it doesn't matter no more. Our feelings ain't getting hurt. They ain't being stripped away. We ain't being felt. We don't feel like we're getting the short end of the stick. We expect it. And we love being handed the short end of the stick, because that means that we're able to serve more. Now, understand this. Understand that this is a process in itself. It's not nothing that we can just go, boop, okay. No, it's an act of God. And it takes us first truly humbling ourselves before God. And so what I wanted to do today is, last week I challenged you to love someone that you normally wouldn't show love to and I don't mean that in a mean way. Like, I'm sure that no one was mean to someone, or you acted mean or spiteful towards anyone else. I'm not talking about those kind of things. I'm just talking about going up and beyond. Going up and beyond. Maybe someone that you just don't talk to that much. Someone that you ain't that close to. Show love to. And if you haven't done that, then I just encourage you to apply love like you've never have this week. To really dig in and just to apply it. Apply it to the lady at the grocery store. Apply it to your friends and your family all around you. Listen, and don't put no confidence in your own flesh. No, put confidence in Christ. Because He can help you to be the radical lover that I know that you desire to be, and I know that Christ desires you to be. It's a process. Remember, we need Christ. We need Christ every single moment and every single second of the day. We desperately need Him. Oh, church, I am so excited, and I believe God's going to do a radical work in Gaylord, Michigan. And it's going to start with us getting on our knees and asking Him to radically change our lives. See you next Sunday. God bless you. Keep on showing love that changes lives.